Have you ever wanted to chase after your dreams and create your own business or be an influencer online? I bet most of you have, at one point, had the dream of starting a business or being an influencer, but you haven't had a place to start. Well, I have the solution for you. It only takes 3 easy steps. Creating a website can be done by anyone. You will need to decide on a brand name, purchase a domain, and design your website. And bam, you're done. By the end of this speech, you will be able to create and design a website of your own. So to begin, you will need a brand or business name. If you are already an established business, you're all set. If not, you need to decide on a good name. So you need a name that is easy to remember and to repeat. People are more likely to remember and share your business name with other people if it's easy to remember. So according to Small Biz Genius, it takes 5 to 7 impressions for someone to remember your brand name. So it needs to be easy to say and remember. Your name needs to be simplistic, typically up to 1 or 2 words. And you need to avoid hard to spell names because people will not be likely to remember them. Make sure your name is catchy also, because people need to be able to remember it, and having something that's catchy or that rhymes, that's easy to remember, they're more likely to share with other people, and that way your brand or business can spread more faster and easily. Make sure you get feedback from outside sources. Make sure you're asking friends and family about your name, and make sure that they not approve it, but make sure that they are confident that it works for your business. Most importantly, just make sure you are happy with the name, because if you're not, then it's probably not the right name and you should reconsider. And once you have your name established and you've tested it with other people, you're ready to move on. The next step is to purchase a domain name for your website. And this is a super important step in the process. So a domain name is simply put a name that shows up in the search bar, which is right now up here, probably something like youtube.com/ blah, 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 a bunch of numbers. So they usually end in .com, .org, .net, or .edu. Anytime you visit a website, you are going to see one of these. It's basically just an address, just like we have in real life for our houses. It's just an address to that specific website. So you're going to need one of these in order to have a website. So the most preferable and cheapest domain is a .com domain. So that's usually what you're going to see up here. It's usually going to be like youtube.com, google.com, so on and so forth. You can get one for $1 a year, and that is a great deal because, believe it or not, some can be really expensive. So I highly recommend a .com domain. You will need to decide what you want your domain to be. So let's say I have a brand and I'm calling it Jack is Amazing. Okay, you would probably want your domain to be jackisamazing.com, right? Well, unfortunately, that really doesn't follow the 2-word rule to begin with, so you should really shorten that up. So, for example, I could just make it jacksamazing.com or abbreviate it and call it JIA.com. And that would be a lot easier for people to remember. That is just a main point here. You need to make sure that whatever you're naming it is easy to remember, okay? Because if it's really long, people are not going to be more likely to share it out loud. So it needs to be short and sweet. You need to choose a domain hosting service. So where you go to get your domain is something like Google Domains, GoDaddy, Bluehost. I'm sure you've heard ads all over the news or on TV shows about them. Those are just examples. There's so many. You can just search up domains online and a bunch of websites will come up, and you can just choose whatever one you find the best deal or whatever one you think looks more appealing. I like to use GoDaddy just because they offer 99 cents for the first year. Again, the $1 for an entire year. That's an amazing deal, so I typically just like to go with them. But you can choose whatever you want. So next, you need to choose your website hosting provider, and you need to design your actual website, which is the actual fun part. So your website hosting provider is somewhat like your domain hosting provider, like we talked about previously. It's not as complicated as it sounds. So again, I like to use GoDaddy. They do the domains and the websites, so that's perfect because they're all in one site. It's easy to remember, one username, password, blah, blah, blah. So they have a great website designing software. Again, no coding experience. You don't need any experience. It's just very simplistic. So once you have chosen whatever you want to use, again, you can just look it up and there are millions of them. You can get right into the designing experience. Again, simplicity is key. You need your website design to be as simplistic as possible. It needs to be neat, clean, and organized. You don't want your website to look cluttered, and it needs to be easy to navigate. There needs to be a drop down with all of the different sites inside of your website. So there's just a couple statistics that might help you. It takes about 50 milliseconds, that's 0.05 seconds, for users to form an opinion about your website. And that determines whether or not they like your site and if they'll stay or leave. So that's 0.05 seconds when they determine that. That is crazy fast. 38% of people will stop engaging with the website if it is unattractive. So again, you need it to be as neat, clean, and artsy as possible. Again, everything needs to be designed in a way that is appealing to the eye. And make sure the title pops in the top to make sure people know where they are and what your brand name is. And finally, all that you need to do now is publish your website. So there should be a blue button that says publish, and that will automatically put it onto all search providers, including Google, Yahoo, Bing, etc. It will be up on all of those within a couple of days because Google has to approve all of them before they actually show up. Fun fact. Make sure you promote your great new website on social media platforms and with friends and family. They are more likely to spread the word, and it will help you grow your brand faster. And that's it. I told you it would be easy. So today I showed you how to create a brand and create a website to promote it. So again, you need to choose a business name, create a domain name, and design and publish your website, and that's it. Creating a website and brand can truly be done by anyone in 3 easy steps. I hope everyone now understands how to create a brand and publish a website. Brands and businesses have left an impact on this world for countless years. Will you be next?